Gentlelady from Florida is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank Chairman Royce and Ranking Member Engel not only for helping bring this bill, H.R. 3583, to the floor today, but in working in such a smooth, bipartisan manner throughout their time in 2 years and beyond to infinity. And helping bring all of our members together on incredibly vexing issues, whether it's Iraq and Iran and ISIS and you name it. Our committee works in a very smooth way, and it's thanks to the leadership at the top. I also want to thank Congresswoman Granger, Kay Granger, and Ranking Member Nita Lowey of the State Foreign Ops Subcommittee. They joined me in introducing this bill. This bill is as much theirs as it is mine, and also Senator Boxer on the Senate side for her leadership on this issue. As Chairman Royce so nicely put it, I am a former Florida certified teacher. That's what I used to do in my real life. And I'm a lifelong student and one of the most senior women in Congress today. I've been around a long time. So I hold the issue of education very near and dear to my heart. We know that access to education is a game changer for any society, Mr. Speaker. It could transform developing countries. It improves the lives of so many, especially in the vulnerable populations. Greater access to education for women and for young girls. It leads to an increased respect for human rights. It leads to a rise in prosperity and well-being and a more peaceful and stable society. Everyone wins. A society in which women have unfettered access to the education system expands the horizons, not just for the girls and the women involved, but for everyone in their community, in their nation. These countries that limit access to education for young girls and women, they're missing out on this untapped potential of nearly half of their population. Imagine how much more productive and how much better off some of these nations would be if they promoted a more inclusive society. What are they afraid of? It is no coincidence that the countries that are most susceptible to human trafficking and exploitation, or the trappings of extremism and terrorism, are also those countries that restrict a woman's access to education. Education is the most important factor in empowering young girls and women to become successful members of our society and protecting them from the ignorance that enables abuse, radicalization, and exploitation. And that's precisely the case in Pakistan, a country which has one of the highest number of children out of school already. They are not going to school. 2/3 of all children are out of school are girls. The numbers are troubling. Barely half of all girls in Pakistan are enrolled in primary schools, and that figure drops to 30% for secondary schools. These numbers are even lower in rural areas where poverty is ever increasing and girls have even less access to schools. And a lot of this has to do with the Taliban, Mr. Speaker, that radical terror group that seeks to impose Sharia law and forbids women, forbids girls from access to education. That is why this bill is so important, to help ensure that we can counter the Taliban's efforts to deny fundamental rights to women and limit their contributions to Pakistani society. The United States provides merit and needs-based scholarships to Pakistani children, but this bill will ensure that at least half of those scholarships go to women. There is still much more to be done to ensure access to education for all women in Pakistan and indeed throughout the world. Doing so would mean a safer society, a healthier society, a more stable and secure world, and so it would be in our national security interest to make it so. This is but a small step in the right direction, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill. And I thank again my chairman, Chairman Royce of California, Mr. Engel of New York, for guiding our committee in such a wonderful bipartisan way. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield to you the balance of my time.